Babies with acid reflux and sleeping can be a challenge, but today we're going to talk about how to deal with this, get over the hurdle of acid reflux, and getting your baby sleeping through the night. Before we even jump into any information about sleep training babies with acid reflux, the most important thing is that if you feel like your baby is having acid reflux, you need to go to the pediatrician. You need to figure out if your baby needs medication, if they need something cut from their diet. Like if you're breastfeeding, you may need to cut dairy or gluten or whatever. I am not a pediatrician. This isn't medical advice. But you may need a different formula. You might just need something different that you're feeding your child. They may need medication, and if they need medication, they need time to adjust to the medication and for it to start working before you can start any sleep training. That is the number one most important thing when it comes to acid reflux, is that you need to have it medically under control before you implement any kind of sleep training whatsoever. If you're looking for general tips on how to establish healthy sleep habits, click the link in the description box down below and grab my free baby sleep guide. This is going to help you lay the foundation and lay some groundwork while you're getting all the medical stuff taken care of, and then you can jump into sleep training. So the first thing that I generally see pediatricians have parents do once their acid reflux is kind of diagnosed and you have a game plan, pediatricians will say that you need to hold your baby upright for 30 minutes after a feeding. Now this is where the eat, play, sleep routine is going to come in great handy, okay? So if you are not familiar, you're eating, you're playing, you're sleeping. So you're not associating sleeping and eating and sleeping. You're not feeding your child and then holding them upright over your shoulder until they fall asleep. That's not what we're doing here. We're switching it around. We're eating, we're playing, we're sleeping. So once your baby wakes up in the morning, you're going to feed them. And then when you have to do that 30 minutes of holding them upright, that's when you can read books, sing songs, you know, sit in a high chair. Depending on how old your baby is, you can have some activities for them to play with at the high chair, some sensory activities. One activity that I love seeing, this is just a bonus little tidbit, is if you put paint in a plastic baggie and then tape it to the high chair, and then they can kind of manipulate around the paint so they're not making a huge mess, but they are making art. So that is one thing that you can definitely do with your baby. Another thing you could do is blow bubbles together, just really having that like one-on-one FaceTime where you're engaging in an activity where you are holding your baby upright, but not with the goal of having your baby fall asleep. Once you have that 30 minutes of upright time is when you can really get down on the ground and play. This might mean tummy time. This might mean playing in a baby gym. This might mean just playing with toys scattered on the floor. Remember that we want to avoid having babies in containers or confined spaces like the jumpers or swing or any of those things. We want to avoid having them in those for an extended amount of time. We also want to make sure that your baby is having the ability to digest their food so that when it is time to sleep, they're not still sitting with a full stomach of whatever may be giving them acid reflux. So to recap, you want to make sure that you're having them eat the 30 minutes of upright playtime, face-to-face time, whatever you're gonna do during that time, reading books, singing songs, whatever it may be, 30 minutes upright, and then you're gonna have like a good, depending on how old your baby is, you may have a solid 30 to 60 minutes, maybe an hour to 2 hours of playtime. And then you're gonna get your baby ready for their nap or bedtime, whatever time of day it is. I don't know, I'm not in your house. But I am here to give you all the tips and tricks to make this an easier transition for you. So when you're getting your baby ready for sleep, you want to have a routine. So make sure you're changing their diaper, reading a book, singing some songs, having some cuddles, and then putting them down in bed. A lot of times parents who have babies with acid reflux don't want their babies crying a lot because it tends to cause more spit up. Totally makes sense, right? So if you are in the process of sleep training your baby, when you lay them down in the crib to sleep, you can rub their tummy for an extra couple minutes, rub the side of their face, so you know that they are calm, drowsy, and ready to sleep. As they're getting used to this process of falling asleep independently, you can remove yourself as giving them assistance to fall asleep and move out of the room and give them the chance to fall asleep on their own. Now, if they do start crying, wait 5 minutes. 5 minutes generally is not enough time for your child to get so worked up that they're gonna vomit. So if you leave the room for 5 minutes, give your child a chance to fall asleep independently so they can learn self-soothing skills, so they can fall asleep independently at bedtime and throughout the night. This is so important. But if your child's crying consistently for 5 minutes, go in there, check on them, do a wellness check, make sure that they haven't pooped, haven't spit up, that everything is okay, reassure them, and use a key phrase. It's night-night time, I love you, see you in the morning, and then leave the room again. Your child will be fine. As long as you have all of the medical aspects of acid reflux under control, it is okay to sleep train your baby. One more thing that I wanted to mention is that it's important that we're not using anything in the crib to prop up your baby. Of course, if your pediatrician recommends propping up the crib at an angle so that your child isn't laying flat, it has to be recommended by your pediatrician and done in a safe way that is recommended by the pediatrician. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends absolutely nothing in the crib for your baby's first year. No pillows, no boppies, no DockATots. I've heard of people using pool noodles to help prop up the baby. I mean, I have heard so many crazy things of people putting in the crib to prop their baby up so that they're not laying flat while they're sleeping. But you need to talk to the pediatrician. Parents should not be just propping up cribs because they feel like it or because they think maybe it's gonna help. If you think that having your baby sleeping at an angle is going to be beneficial for their acid reflux, you 110,000% need to seek out pediatrician advice on this topic. Otherwise, anything sleep related when you've dealt with the acid reflux, I can definitely help you with, so make sure you reach out, leave me a comment down below. If you're looking for more sleep training babies, toddlers, preschoolers videos, check out this playlist over here. Click this button over here to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss my next video, and keep blooming. Mwah!